Are you trying to figure out the secret to happiness? Well, here at What Makes You Happy with Jake Pearson, we want to make that happiness more accessible for you in your life. So stick around as we interview everyday people, inspirational leaders, and your favorite celebrities on what makes them happy. Welcome back to the podcast where we ask the question, what makes you happy? My name is Jake Pearson, and today we have with us a creative businesswoman and author of Unmasking the Path, Sharon Weston from Victoria, Australia. How are you, Sharon?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, quite well. We just discussed that I'd come from a boxing session, so I'm actually feeling short of breath, and you're recovering from COVID, I believe.
Yes, that's right.
We're here today to sort of talk about things in relation to your happiness, and everything you might have gone through over the last 3-4 weeks might tie into that. What makes you happy?
Definitely for me, it's the little things. I love, I have a beautiful view in my new home where I can actually see a reserve. So I get lots of trees, I hear the birds, I hear kookaburras off in the distance, and I always take that moment of feeling grateful for hearing that and seeing the beautiful sunsets out the window. But on a deeper level for me, it's definitely creativity that brings me back to my happiness. So I'm a lifelong creative, graphic designer, author. I take photographs, I paint, and it's all of those things that make me very happy. It gets me into a state of flow where it's like a meditation. I can sometimes get my anger out, depending on what colours and brushes I use.
Yep.
But generally it's just, I pop on some music and paint or draw, and that's really what gets me going.
Were you very creative as a child?
Absolutely. I've been holding a pencil or crayon since, as long as I can remember.
It's very interesting. I've heard a lot of people on this podcast mention go back to your roots and doing what you really loved to do as a child, because that's where you felt the happiness, the most happiness in your life, and bringing that forward to the present is just something that a lot of people don't do. They seem to forget that part of them.
Absolutely. And that's part of my retreats. I actually have a workshop in there, talking about your inner child. And, for me, that's creativity and painting. But for others, it could be sport, it could be riding a bike, it could be, anything, cooking with their parents, anything. And I often go back into my inner child, and I think, I take her for a walk. So I actually visualize meeting her, giving her a cuddle, going for a walk and talking about the things that make us both happy, and then try to bring that back into my daily life.
Do you think that would tie into what you would say to someone who's struggling a little bit with their own happiness in their life? Go back towards that inner child?
Absolutely. And, not everyone's had a wonderful childhood, but there will be moments, there will be something in there that you can go back to and find and hold on to that has made you happy. There'll be a time in your life, even if it's not necessarily a 5 or 6 year old, perhaps it's a teen, but something that you can find that brings you happiness, and bring that back into your adult life, because, our busy lives, work, family, they really take our time. So it's very, very important just to get that happiness, that pure happiness from childhood, and bring that back in.
That it's really simple. Like for you found art, you've gone back within. And I was on a bike ride recently, and I was out in the bush, and that's something I used to do a lot as a kid, and I hadn't done that in a while. And then when I was just flying down this road and into the bush with all these trees around me, I was like, oh wow, this is so nostalgic. I used to love doing this as a kid. Why don't I? And I felt in that moment I was so happy and peaceful and free. I'm like, I need to do this more often. So maybe
absolutely,
that's my message, is I need to get outdoors more and go on the bike rides that I used to do as a child. Like for you, the listener, that could be anything. It could be going for a walk with your family. It could be just sitting inside reading a book. It could be doing art like Sharon does, don't you think?
Absolutely. And you do just have to find your own thing. As an adult, if you can't find something from your childhood, find something new. Speak to your friends and family. Find out what they do to make them happy. You may find that you can actually join in with them, and it's something that you then find a passion for.
And that also ties into this podcast. Like, if you don't know what makes you happy, you can listen to other people and hear what makes them happy and relate that into your own life. Go try all the different things that everybody else implements in their life. You might not find things that stick for you, but along the way, you'll cross off the things that you're not interested in, and one day you'll stumble upon something that really just gives you that joy.
Absolutely. And in the meantime, you can just pop on some music and do a silly dance. That'll make you smile.
I'm probably going to do that after this. Well, Sharon, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. And if you would love to connect with Sharon and learn more about her creative retreats, that sounds like a fantastic thing you can do by visiting the podcast episode description below. Sharon, thank you for coming on and sharing things that make you happy. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We hope it gives you something to think about on your quest to discover what makes you happy. Don't forget to leave a review or a comment and follow us on all our social media platforms so you can see our upcoming guest calendar. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.